welcome back to another episode of Media Munchers. I'm Mathian.
And I'm Adrian.
And we have got some Obi-Wan Kenobi official trailer, and we got some Batman to review. But first, we got to get into that Muncher Minute. So I'll take it away, Big A.
Sure thing.
First things first, have you heard about this? Have you heard about the fact that the whole DC 2022 lineup has been switched around?
Oh, it got pushed back again.
Everything got switched on. All the movies. It's the whole musical release shuffle. So we got Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Variety reported that that movie has been pushed back to March 17th, 2023. And The Flash has also been rescheduled for November 4th, 2022 release. However, Shazam...
2022 or 2023?
2022.
I thought it was 2020.
No, not according to this. Okay. It's been rescheduled for November 4th of this year. We're in 2022, right?
Flash, right? You said
The Flash, yeah, The Flash.
Yeah, we're in 2020.
Can't believe it. Anyway, but Shazam's, however, Shazam! Fury of the Gods will now release December 12th, 2022, a full 6 months earlier than originally planned. Thoughts, feelings, concerns? Don't care? Excited? How do you feel about the movie?
I don't know. I think the movie I have the most interest in out of those is probably Black Adam.
Really? Okay.
They still have potential.
Yeah, they do.
But I feel like the current DC era of movies, other than the Batman, which we'll talk about later, they haven't that
amazing.
Yeah, that amazing.
I have to agree with you, unfortunately. That's pretty much my Muncher Minute. But though, yeah, I'd have to agree. I think Shazam is. I'm looking forward to that more than Aquaman, but not as much as no. The Flash. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle about it only because of the multiverse stuff. Like I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I want to see how they do Michael Keaton.
His version of Batman, bringing him back.
Yeah,
what he's been up to.
Yeah, I want to see how much that changes their universe.
Yes, with all the tie-ins or branches, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely think they're gonna do like a Flashpoint soft reboot, maybe even something sweep in the Batman into the
I think Ben Affleck's supposed to be his send off.
Oh, okay, it is
as well.
I can see them doing that, like cleaning it up, tidying it up.
Yeah.
What do you think they're gonna do with Superman? Just a bunch of Supermen?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
No.
Tis.
It sucks for Henry Cavill.
Sucks for him. Sucks for everyone who enjoys Superman. Just wants to see him done right.
Yeah.
Oh well. Let's get into yours, Big A.
Yeah. So mine's a movie. It's coming out on Disney Plus tomorrow. Turning Red. It's a coming of age movie about this young girl. I think she's in middle school. Directed by Dami Shi. She did the short film Bow for Pixar.
Sure.
This is a Pixar movie as well. I really like the look of the animation, and it's like really clean and crisp. It also has some like fantastical elements. The girl of the main story, she turns into a red panda.
I see. Yeah, I'm looking at the stills right now.
Yeah,
this looks crazy.
It looks like a good, fun, charming movie. Probably a great learning lesson for like young kids. It was supposed to come out in theaters originally, and now it's only Disney Plus.
Yikes.
And they're releasing it without like a paid option. Pay option.
Sounds like less money.
Yeah, less money for Pixar. Yeesh. And apparently it's like the third straight film they've released straight onto the platform.
Man, they're really hoping everyone stays subscribed and gets subscribed real soon, huh?
Yeah.
Putting all their eggs in that basket. I don't know. It's exciting nonetheless for the people involved. It looks like it could be a good film. It's already got ratings. Wow. Rotten Tomatoes seems to like it.
Yeah. I think it's been doing well critically so far.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe worth a check out. That's our Muncher Minute. You want to get straight into that
Obi-Wan Kenobi
trailer?
Sure.
Yeah, we got you here. What do you think?
I didn't see Hayden Christensen in it. What's up with that, man?
I mean, I'm sure they're saving it for a flashback.
They did release an image of him as Darth Vader. But yeah, so yeah, it was just Darth Vader. Really.
But this literally takes place after the events of Episode 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unless they're gonna do like a convoluted flashback.
What, like Boba Fett?
Don't get Adrian started on Boba Fett, man. He will destroy that. He'll be like, get off the fabric.
He'd be like, it was trash.
It had good moments, but they just weren't pertaining to Boba Fett, and so.
Yeesh. That's so true.
Well, what if I thought they were, Big A?
What? What if
they were pertaining to Boba Fett?
Like Mandalorian's his own show within the show?
Yep.
Okay.
They had very little to do with him.
Extremely little.
It did.
Anyway.
Right. Well, that was. I don't know who half those characters are, though.
They're new characters, probably. To us, casuals.
Yeah.
Do you know any of them, Big A?
Well, the villain's the Inquisitor, which is someone
The comics? Or?
from the comics.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about him,
And, like,
but
his
he
lightsaber
hunts down Jedi, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jedi that haven't
No, I just meant like
been killed by Order 66, I think.
Oh, nice.
So he's one of them too, but he's like an evil Jedi now.
No, he just like captures them, I think. Oh. As far as I know, I don't know
he's
enough.
Like a Jedi hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's part of the Sith, maybe, or somewhere along those lines.
Well, he had a red lightsaber. So
Yeah, exactly.
So he's a bad dude.
He's a bad
that's
dude.
How we know. The red lightsaber.
Yeah, that's all black and white.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Do you think they got the my precious?
I thought I heard some sort of Palpatine-esque voice.
That's what I thought, but I think it was just the Inquisitor.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an old gravelly voice. Gotcha. I don't know. I'm hopeful that after Boba Fett, I'm like, is Disney Plus know what they're doing with Star Wars, man? I hope they take the show, like this series seriously, and like they don't try and leave too many room for like a bunch of jokes and stuff. Like I hope they tell like a solid story and they focus on that.
Yeah, it does look a little more like it will be
Looks like
a serious story.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope it will be more focused.
I really hope they treat it with the same respect because Obi-Wan's like he's a pretty big name in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
See why they would like screw up that. Like I get it, Boba Fett, but he wasn't like a character. He was like a side bounty hunter.
Right.
And then now he's like a character of a show.
Sure.
Right.
But like Obi-Wan's like he's been there since like even the prequels, the character he's and like even in the Clone Wars too. Has such a long history of that. And I'm just like. Better fucking deliver. Because Obi-Wan did some tight shit in the Clone Wars. Like, right, Big A? When he covers one of the bounty hunters on Mandalore?
Yeah.
Or, like, when he tricked Cad Bane when you saw the blue... Or not. Yeah, is that his name? Cad Bane?
Yeah, Cad Bane.
Yeah, when you saw the blue guy
the blue guy?
Boba Fett.
Cad Bane.
He did a cool, like, little jigsaw puzzle with Obi-Wan when he was undercover. And that was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish we saw more of Cad Bane and all these other cool characters, but they're killing him off, man. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
All right.
They're doing.
You're telling me.
You're telling Big A, man.
Like they're handling Disney well and not well at the same time. Like they've done some like Mandalorian shit, and then they like do the other stuff.
Boba Fett.
They do some Boba Fett shit. Yeah.
And that's all they've done so far.
And even the new sequel movies were pretty like.
No, you can call them bad. You can call the sequels bad. They were bad.
I think the best one was the second.
The 7th episode or 8?
The 7.
7? The first one?
No, 8.
8's the middle one.
8, yeah, 8.
You thought that was the best one?
Yeah.
I thought the last one was the worst one. Even though we saw some cool fight scenes, they angered me at the end. And it should have been Adam Driver's character.
Take out John Boyega's character and the Asian girl.
Yep.
And that movie works.
That's so true though. It was trying to do too much, and that's what's going on with a lot of these franchises is they're trying to stuff too much into it. They're like they're spinning off before we even finish this story. It's like can we have this story please before we get to it, and we'll get to that with the Batman. It's like this is supposed to be a standalone movie, and we're still setting up at the end. We don't need to set up at the end. I'll come back to that. We don't need to do that. Yeah. You can let this movie sit. You know what I mean? We know there's more to come. We know you're gonna make your money back, studios. Like come on. Anyway. But same thing with Star Wars. Like we don't need to be 50,000 tie-ins. Like let's focus on a few characters. Let's get it done right. You know.
They didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
But they did with Mandalorian.
When are we gonna get you on this thing, man? Anytime we talk Star Wars, you got to be here.
I don't know, man. Too much work.
He's literally just voicing his opinion. How is that too much work? That's crazy. So Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to it. I hope they don't mess it up.
I am too, because it's not directed by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the hardest thing in the book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Was that they didn't really have much care toward Boba Fett, and they put all their care towards setting up Mandalorian.
Fair enough.
And that was their character, their creation. So I think that made sense, but it didn't work out.
Right. It's kind of like they had a favorite child in a way. You know what I mean? It really showed. So it is what it is. With that, I think we'll take a small break and then we'll get into the Batman review.
Yeah.
All right. Solid. Okay. And we're back with our review of the Batman. So some quick synopsis / background. When the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. That's pretty much the film. But my initial thoughts are like the most Batman ever. That's what everyone keeps preaching to me. I wasn't expecting a proper detective Batman story. I feel like we've always seen him figure things out, but not quite as in depth as we have in this film. And this is another point I'll hammer on later. I feel like I personally wasn't ready, nor did I ask for this film. Because I know originally, and don't take that the wrong way, I know originally we had, help me out here, who's Justice League Batman?
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck's Batman?
Yeah.
He was supposed to star and direct
it was going to be this movie.
This was going to be this movie, right?
Yeah, he was going to direct and star and write.
Everything.
And he just put too much on his plate. And
understandably.
He couldn't do it.
So that's a tall order, especially the film of this magnitude.
Yeah.
And so he, either for whatever reason, he just backed out of that. He's good. He's off the project. And then we circle around to this. We get this somehow. I wasn't there. Maybe you know more details than I do about that. But this is what we have.
Yeah.
And overall, I mean, like, what are your initial thoughts? Like, what did you like? What did you like?
I think this was definitely the most Batman
Ever?
Out of any Batman movie I've seen. Right down to the aesthetic. Gotham, very much like the Arkham games. The detail within the suit. I liked how even in the right light, like as he was turning his head, you could see the glare in his cowl, especially on the ears and on the forehead. And there are like subtle details like that within his suit and within like just everything that was in the movie. That really like made him feel like the Batman of the comic.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is that the movie took extreme care to every detail possible. I mean, like, it's one of my likes, but dude, the character that is Gotham is so present in this movie. Like, it's literally another character in the cast. Like, it's so grimy. It has a very specific feel to it. There's like a culture there that's, you can see it right there. That crime underbelly kind of culture. It's all there and it's super present. And one thing I didn't catch the first time in the narration, but I did in the second watch, was how he's fighting the good fight. He's been on this crusade for 2 years, and like crime, everything is up. Like, he's not helping. Like his fear, his tactic.
He's trying to find to see like, is he actually doing some good?
Well, in his eyes at the beginning, he wasn't. You know what I mean? And I thought that was interesting. I'm like, why do you keep doing what you're doing? What's the goal? And like, that's what I was most invested in going into the movie, because I'm like, then why is he doing what he's doing? Like, what is his underlying motivation?
Right.
So I'm gonna roll into things that stood out. The bat gadgets, I really enjoyed them. Like, especially like the magical camera contact lenses. Super tight. Cool. And I loved his reasoning for it. Like, because he's such a nocturnal beast, he literally forgets. Days bleed together. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has to keep a journal of everything, very meticulous and detail oriented. I loved all of that. I like that he uses tech to enhance his abilities, because it's a weird duality with Batman, because he is a superhero. But he felt like the most human in this movie. He didn't seem like overly huge or like steroided up.
Right.
But he also, like, he packed the punch, you know what I mean? He was strong. But then at one point, he was a little too strong. Like, I was like, there's no way you're going to take a bridge to the face after a wingsuit and then hit a bunch of stuff and then live. Like, no way, bro. Are you?
Well, you got to think, like, somehow his suit is, like, reinforced.
Is like spinally
enough
reinforced when you take a?
It could.
I mean, I guess he's Batman.
He's Batman.
I'll let it slide.
You know, we don't know the exact extent. I mean, he does have those lenses in his eyes that.
Oh, okay.
You know, he can like.
He crafts
do all
them just
that,
the right way.
All that research on.
That's true.
So.
But I loved his tech though. That point aside, the wingsuit closing around his cloak was tight. Like all of that.
Well, I like how it wasn't like a big focus that he was like teched up. And like decked out and everything, because that's not the core of what Batman is.
Sure.
It's always been his mind, his intelligence that has gotten him as far as he's been. And
that's something I enjoyed the most out of all of his little abilities, especially like we're thrown into that initial crime scene with the Riddler's first crime. Which, what a great cop out. You think maybe it's Batman spying on someone at the top of the movie, and it's not, it's the Riddler. I love that.
Yeah, I love how they opened it with that.
That was tight.
But I love Batman's intro. Yeah,
you love everyone seemed to love that.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect that the movie start like the first time we see the character Bruce Wayne Batman, it's Batman. Because that sets up the whole movie to be about Batman rather than being about the other adjacent stuff.
Yeah. Like that's the focus.
That comes
like,
out of
this is what it's about. Yeah.
But yeah, he felt like very much like a knight in his armor, or like a sheriff with his boots.
Sure.
Like it very much felt like a western in that way.
Sure.
But also like very like edgy and a little bit of like horror and mystery.
I love that. I almost didn't buy it the first time. I'm serious. Like, and I'll get to it later. But something about his menacing or whatever. I think maybe it's because I'm having a hard time swallow a pill that there's a new Batman. It's like kind of a growing pains, like, oh, the new stepdad's here. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So it was harder for me to appreciate that the first viewing because I was like, okay, here come the boots, and he's on screen, and like and he beats everyone's ass, which I loved.
Well, what I appreciated the first time viewing it did very much not feel like he was super menacing, but it felt like he was being as controlled as he could be in his age, in his youth, like him picking up as he's going, like learning how to be Batman.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I could get a sense of all of that within the way that he was like walking into that scene and everything.
Well, that's another thing that allowed me to appreciate everything that was happening and all the justifications the second viewing is because he's so new to the game. You know what I mean? He's still fresh to this. He's not a seasoned vet. You know what I mean? He's not offing people like Affleck's Batman. Like, you know, and it's another thing I like too, which was really off-putting, is him not killing people. Now I'm used to that. I feel like just like offing people left and right.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Batman getting it done everything.
Getting it done everything. You know what I mean? Like it was weird. Yeah, like I love how the subways are disgusting. There's non-existent public sanitation. It's the nastiest Gotham yet. Finishing up that note. Dude, the cinematography, very spicy. Some of the shots straight up look like paintings. I was like, what is this? Like I wish I saw it in IMAX. Like it was really good stuff.
Yeah.
On that note, some of the ways we see Batman interact or move around the city, or traverse rather, are really refreshing. Like that crazy top-down shot after he's chasing after Selena, after she like just jumps off the building or whatever she did. Like him sticking that magnet or whatever to the pole and then like running down, like that was awesome.
Oh,
that was straight out of a video game or something. Like
yeah.
I like that.
Usually you'd expect him to like hook onto something with his grappling
and
hook
then just like swing away or
drop
down,
or
just like bat suit it off and fly down. Like dude, that was so extra. He didn't need to run down a building, but he did. That was so cool. Like that's some ooey gooey Batman for me.
I like how he's constantly learning.
Yes.
Like you see that in his the way he moves through his eyes. Like going back to the crime scene when they're first investigating everything. He's picking up clues that all the other cops aren't seeing.
And he's not even saying a word when he does it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. He's just observing. And people are watching him and like, oh, look at that. Look on the ground. Like, you know, a bunch of pictures. Like, I love all those small details and how he's forced to like look first and talk second. You know what I mean? He's a man of a few words when he's in that suit.
Yeah, exactly.
What else do I like? I'm back and forth on this. For a long movie, the pacing wasn't horrible. And the audience, I like that the audience can actually follow the investigation and not get lost. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Not get lost in the sauce. Pretty much, you know, follow everything to the end. Pretty much. But dude, like for 3 hours, I was like, man, we couldn't have tightened up a thing here and there. And that goes back to one of my dislikes at the end. That tie-in scene with Riddler and people were saying Joker. To me, I saw it twice, and it looked like more like a Two-Face character to me.
It did look like Two-Face, but
maybe that's intentional.
Matt Reeves did do an interview, the director of this movie, and he did say right out that it was the Joker. It was Barry Keoghan or Keoghan.
Oh yeah, from Eternals.
From Eternals, yes.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be based off of the character that influenced the creation of the Joker. It's supposed to be like a loose interpretation of that.
Interesting. Okay. To me it felt like more like a misdirect of anything else.
Yeah, it didn't really feel to me like the Joker. But it is supposed to present like another future story that was in the comic.
Yeah, and well, I get why they have to do that. It kind of like for a standalone movie, I was like, you didn't need to though. Like I know I was harping on this earlier. I was like, but it was so like, there's a little bow on it. The hope driving off with a motorcycle, like let it be. You know what I mean? Let it rest.
It does kind of put to rest Riddler's story.
Yes and no.
A little bit
because that trailer, the post-credit trailer, really said no to Riddler.
Right.
Goodbye? ?
Maybe.
I feel like
I mean, he's not dead, so you could always come back.
Right. But so did it really put it to bed his story? Like so he could just get broken out.
For like this.
Oh, for this
3 hour.
Gotcha. I see. I like the dry humor in this movie. And then that was really off-putting at first because there was memes about it. They're like Marvel fans when there's not like a joke every 5 seconds. And I was like, that was weird at first because it goes back to one of my kind of dislikes. He was like, I'm vengeance. I was like, it just didn't sit right with me. Like, I get it. Like, we're supposed to take him in this movie seriously. But like the first time I was like, are you though? Like, I know, but it didn't feel. Did that line hit for you? And they kept calling him vengeance throughout the whole movie. That was funny. I
think it grew. It made sense as the movie went on.
Sure.
Because, I mean, you don't really hear them really call him Batman.
Right.
I think maybe it was only in the newspapers.
It was only written.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think it felt less corny than if he were to say like I am Batman, like
that's
Michael
true.
Keaton.
I can see why they'd want to do a little swerve, a little zig when we zag. I get that.
So I think it worked better overall.
It was the better option.
And I think it was good story device.
Yeah.
That they used in the fact that he was saying that he was vengeance from the very beginning of this movie. And then by the end he realizes by doing that he's influencing the criminal underworld just as much as he is everything else around him.
They hit that hit home when one of the people who followed Riddler said the same thing. Who are you? I'm vengeance. So, that at least was a good story device. So yeah, the dry humor was great. Catwoman was great. I have virtually no complaints about her. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about another Catwoman, but it worked for me.
I feel like her character was more fleshed out than in any other iteration, and I think that really helped. I think she was also really well constructed within the story. Like it didn't feel like she was just in there to be in there.
Yeah, it didn't feel shoehorned at all.
Yeah,
she really was like in many ways a co-star in this film. Like, her story was just as tied in and important.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, I liked how instantly you understood everyone's relation to Batman, whether it was the cops, whether it was Selina, Jim Gordon. They all had like a certain opinion on who he was as a person, and you could feel that.
Right.
And I liked how I liked the partnership that Jim Gordon and Batman had.
Right.
It felt very like unique and different compared to Christian Bale's and Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was a different dynamic. I enjoyed their partnership. I wish we saw more of Alfred. That's one of my dislikes. He played his part well. I get it.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool to have a few more wisecracks from him.
I feel like out of all the casting though, he did feel a little distracting for me.
I understand.
Yeah. And I think that might have been because of his look. He looked very much the same as he did in Black Panther. Like his sure like he had the tattoos and everything in that. Sure. But when it comes to like his facial features, there weren't much changed with like his beard or his hair.
There was a scar over his eyebrow at one point. Was that something that in the Batman?
In the Batman?
Was there a reason for that? That bothered me every time I watched it.
Was it?
It was like a hook scar.
Was it after the explosion?
Nah, he was walking around clear as day. It's not your girlfriend, like.
Well, I think it's supposed to allude to his past because in some iterations.
But it looked fresh, bro. It looked like within a few months. But it could have been his past.
Yeah.
What I liked about his character is that he's like, I could teach you how to fight. So like it seems like as opposed to like Ra's al Ghul or something like that, Alfred taught him like hand to hand and all that kind of stuff growing up, like this version of Batman. Because seems like at least in this telling of it, seems like he never leaves Gotham, like for any reason. Like this is his home. He's not going anywhere. Like this Batman doesn't feel well traveled or anything. You know?
Yeah, he's very like shut in and like
super reclusive. Like yeah. So that was an interesting play on it. Another thing when I kind of wasn't taking Batman seriously when he was trying to be menacing sometimes, maybe he's still figuring it out. Even when he was like at Arkham with Riddler, something was still off-putting when the Bat Pat tried to like intimidate him or like where's Rachel, like that whole scene, you know what I mean? Like not the where's Rachel, but you know what I'm saying, like when he was like trying to get information, he's like, what have you done? He's like, you haven't figured it out? Like I didn't buy his rage, but I think that's just a nitpick. I don't know. It just seemed like if he was in there like how Bale's Batman was with like the Joker throwing him around, that would have been cool. But he couldn't. All he could do was bang on some glass, and I was like, like wouldn't it be badass if he busted the glass and started like shaking him around? Like that'd be crazy. Or is that too much for a normal dude?
Well, yeah, I think that would be too much.
But he's got gear.
Sure.
You explode the glass and start shaking him around, right?
Yeah, but he is acting out of anger. It's not like
I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
Not like a measured.
I just want to see Batman throw people around, man. Anyway, I already complained about the bridge.
I think Paul Dano though was fantastic
As the Riddler.
Yeah,
oh God, I loved it. Killed it. No complaints. I loved when he got hysterical and he was like screaming over FaceTime about his interrogation. Dude, he killed it the whole way through. I loved it. And you had a note earlier about how Batman technically didn't defeat the Riddler. You want to explore that?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about that.
Yeah, because Riddler's plan resulted in a flood, and Batman couldn't do anything about it.
Right, he was too late.
Yeah, he was too late to find the bombs. He had mistooken the riddle for several other people.
Sure.
By that point, all he could have done was save the people, or as many people from the flood as possible. It felt very much like a Rocky movie, the first Rocky at least. It didn't have like a clean cut ending to it, like a resolution.
It wasn't like we put him in jail and nothing happened. Like no, something for sure happened. Like there's fallout because of his action. You didn't stop the villain, you just contained him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what's even crazier than that is that, as you saw by his little army of people, he's taken on like an ideology, like a movement. You know what I mean? He's like kind of like at the end of the Joker movie, the standalone one. It's kind of like everyone's in a mask and everyone's causing mayhem and all that good stuff. It's like, yeah, you locked up the spearhead of the movement, but the movement kind of still there. There's still a group of extremists who acted out the way they did and gave a whole rise to a shootout at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of didn't defeat him. Another dislike I have, and it's hard to dislike it because it's Gotham, but it's literally always raining, overcast, or night in Gotham. And I get it, he's always out at night. But the raining thing, it was a bit much because, first of all, how are you going to have that high-speed chasing with that much water on the ground, bro? Like, your traction's going to be crazy. What kind of wheels are they driving? The Penguin just has like a normal car. He doesn't have like the Batmobile.
True.
That's crazy.
Well, I think that definitely played into the tension though.
Oh, it certainly did.
Yeah.
It made it that much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way they're drifting. And
I also thought it was interesting that they were doing it on a highway and that there were like Jeeps on there. They were like different, like you would see in a city, but you wouldn't associate with being in a city.
Sure. Too many off-road vehicles for your tastes.
No, not like it was bad, but like it was just like the first time viewing it was kind of like distracting because there was like an orange Jeep there, and then it was just like, oh.
Was the top off? Were they going like getting soaked in the rain?
No.
Oh, at least they had the sense to put the doors back on. The Batmobile was tight. Dude, did you catch that weird little? It was awkward for me both viewings where like it stalled or something. Like the dramatic rev of the engine.
Yeah, I think he was like trying to be intimidating by like pressing forward but pressing the brake real hard.
It didn't play well on screen. I can't lie to you, Batman. That's the thing. Like when something
it was
like
a little.
If it revved and didn't move, perfect. But the fact that it jumped and then stopped, I was like, no, you're not a drag racer, bro. Like, come on.
Well, because I think in most of the Batmans that they've brought to live action, it's like usually the lights, like they glow up real bright and like there's smoke or flames or something going on.
Flames are cool. I like that engine on the back. That was awesome.
But yeah, the engine was cool.
All of that was tight.
Yeah.
Another dislike I had was the weird sexual tension and kisses between Catwoman and Batman. They felt off for me.
How so?
It didn't feel like warranted. I'll elaborate. I can see how in the moment they could be taken with each other because they have to keep meeting like this, and there's a lot of danger and mystique, and they're all costume up. I get it. To me, it didn't feel earned or warranted. And I'm like, what if they're like mind games from Selena? Because even at the end, she tempts him. She's like, "Come with me," and he's like, he doesn't say that.
I felt like I could get the sense that they both liked each other and knew each other for a bit.
You think?
A bit longer than the movie that we got.
You're saying, okay, we only saw the highlights and maybe there's more interaction. Maybe. I just think it could be a weird work relationship because like all they do is they see each other when they're fighting crime, and there's always danger involved and emotions are running high and that kind of thing.
Sure.
Maybe
That probably
more,
plays a factor.
I think it has to do with it.
Yeah.
And the tension with him and Gordon, that spicy scene and the little, what are you doing, man?
I thought that was kind of funny. That felt like
was a little over.
Like an Arkham scene, like that plays on for too long because the way he was like moving his head around. Like, so
I need to get you out of here.
I understand, like he was trying to
the
like
cops
hide
outside.
it to the cops outside, but yeah, that was a little too much head movement for me.
I was like, what is going on here, man? I'm supposed to fuck everybody. No, it was weird, but whatever. It's fine. It's small gripe. You have any last dislikes?
I didn't really have too many dislikes. I thought the pacing definitely. So like the pacing was like really fast in the beginning. Once I think it was around the time Selena found the cop who was hiding the audio.
Oh, and they like spent 3 minutes listening to that voicemail.
Well, even before that, like it felt like there was a weird break into it. Like the flow kind of ceased, and then it had to pick back up.
Yeah, I felt that too. I did. Yeah. They're kind of like, oh man, how do we get to Act 3? Well, let's have a conversation, and then like they kind of got to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like in conclusion, I personally enjoyed it more with the second watch because I saw more of what they were going for, where Batman was, how he's learning still through this movie. He's not fully fleshed out. He's not like 10 years veteran. He's like 2 years.
Right.
So I mean, technically, each time it was a solid film. Like even given that it was shot through a pandemic, like it was like really great to look at. It was really solid in that regard.
So. Also, I wanted to point out, I also really felt Matt Reeves' touch on the film, like his directional telling of the story, because like watching the Planet of the Apes movies that he made, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes, those all had the same feel and like pacing, that I feel like carried over really well.
And it worked
for the Batman,
especially for this one.
Yeah,
that's good. I feel like we haven't given enough love to the Penguin. All I want to say is that Colin Farrell killed it.
Dude, I can't wait for his show.
It's greenlight officially. It's greenlight. I read an article. It's ready to go, and I'm ready for it. Seriously, get that makeup back on him, and let's see more of it. And he's like, "World's greatest detective." Like I loved it. He's like, "You gonna leave me tied up here?" Like he just had so many great lines.
Yeah, he did. Dude, the cops had some great lines too.
They did.
Yeah, the when Gordon pulled off Batman from fighting all those 3 cops, he was like, "You really gonna defend this I don't know, like a-hole or something?" I don't know what he said, but he said it like in like the perfect like Boston or New Jersey type accent, whatever it was, and it's just like it flowed really well. There was another moment, the crime scene at the beginning.
Were the actual commissioners there? Because
the commissioner's
not Commissioner Gordon isn't Commissioner Gordon here. I like that. I like that he has to build up to that.
Yeah, what is he?
He must be a lieutenant. Yeah, because he's not. He doesn't. I saw the little badge on that older dude. He was like, "What is he doing to my crime scene? Get him out of here!" Like all that.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
that was
awesome. He had a great.
He's like,
"They're
up my ass."
Yeah.
I thought we had history. You was an eye.
Yeah.
We had history.
Yeah, that was great.
Gordon's like, "Don't worry about it. He knows." He's like, "He could be working with them." It was great. It was great. I loved it, man. No, there was a lot to like in this movie. There was more likes than dislikes for sure. And like I said at the top, it wasn't an insult. I just didn't ask for it. Like I personally didn't, but a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, I've been waiting my whole life for this Batman movie." Is that how you felt?
No, because I feel like it felt a lot like Year One, the animated movie based on the comic that they have.
Sure.
So it's not like that I was asking for it, but I feel like this was the best interpretation and representation of the Batman that we've gotten so far. And in that's what I appreciate most.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well spoken, man. Well spoken. All right. Well, that's our review of the Batman. For Media Munchers, I'm Mathian.
And I'm Adrian.
We'll catch you next time.